Welcome, welcome, welcome. So welcome to our live demonstration of how to make homemade nut milks. And I love this topic. It's something that it's very informative as far as nutrition, and also some of the superfoods that you can put into your nut milks that you can add in a lot of powerful nutrition and get so many benefits from and not really even notice it. You can sneak them into your food profiles, and then your body will receive the benefits of these superfoods. And what happens is when you receive the benefit of the superfoods, then the body starts to adjust its cravings, and it learns how to then ask you for these foods by craving them again and again. And what has happened is in the like the fast food arena and like McDonald's and some of these big conglomerate corporations who are very, very wealthy, they use scientists, and these scientists come up with different additives that they can put into their food that not only make them taste better or oftentimes give them the taste that you come to know. And I'll explain that. But they also add in chemical matter that makes you more addicted to that product. So like in superfoods, we get those nutrients in your body, and your body then knows, wow, I know what to do with this. I know where to direct it into my body. I know how to use it. And I also know then how to ask for it again. So when the fast food companies were like, oh my God, they kind of got wind of how the body works in this manner, they would add additives into the flavoring of this stuff and to make you more addictive to it. There's a show that's out, not a show. It's not a show that's out. It was a movie called Super Size Me. And I'm sure you all have heard about it. It was a long time ago. I did a cooking class way back when with teenagers, with like 12, 13-year-olds. They were before they got too out of control and could care less about what I had to say. And what we did is we remake a lot of these, things like that they've come to learn to know as part of their nutritional dialogue. Like people that are my age, I mean, I didn't frequent McDonald's as a child. One, we were dirt poor and my mom was drunk half the time. So taking us to McDonald's wasn't high on the list. And in hindsight, thanks, Mom, because, she would have loaded me up with a bunch of shit I didn't need. And then my body would want those things. Now, don't get me wrong. As soon as I made it on my own and I made some money, I ate a bunch of shit. I ate everything. I drank, I did whatever. And I learned very quickly on what that can do to your body. That movie did the same thing. This man's, his girlfriend was a vegan chef. And I need to get a vegan chef, right? And so he ate a lot of really like healthy foods that were all made from plant-based. And his documentary was, what could happen to the human body if we did nothing but consume fast food? Would it alter our state of health? Would it change it? And nobody knew. Everybody's like, that stuff's bad for you. And we're all, yeah. And then remember those people that tried to sue McDonald's? And this will be interesting to you so you can understand. You guys got to stop believing what you see out there. Well, I guess question me too. But there was, I talk about this in yoga all the time. They're so sick of these stories. But there was a long time ago when these teenagers, I remember hearing the story, they were going to sue McDonald's. And they were going to sue McDonald's for making them fat. And I was all, it's your fault for eating the McDonald's and getting fat. That's what I was initially thinking. And the premise was, is they were like, we didn't know how unhealthy this food was. And you sold it to us on the premise it was a dinner, it was breakfast, it was lunch. And as it turns out, it's toxic. And that was the premise of their lawsuit. So the judge, he was going to decide whether or not they had merit to move forward in this case to go to trial. While they were deciding this is how crooked they are. The powers that be passed legislation that made it illegal for you to sue a fast food conglomerate. So by the time he made the decision, it was released. Obviously, it was dismissed because of the new laws that they have. So when you have enough power and money, you can get enough people on your side to write law and legislation to make it accommodate to what your business plan is, which is why, I mean, I've met people too, and I've heard some woman say to me once, I said, hey, would you like to try this? I don't know where I was. I don't know what I was doing. I was passing out something. And she's like, I don't eat food that other people cooked. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go to the next person then if you don't want it. And my thinking was, I was like, you know what? I actually kind of get that, you know, and you don't know what people put in there, especially when people's finances and making a profit is based on that, then you're gonna have to question what's in there. So when I started making nut milks, it was really because one, they went bad so quickly when you bought them and it wasn't sustainable. And then two, I could not get enough of a nutrition in the middle of the day. And it was funny because my friends over at, it was Sports Club LA, they were bought by Equinox, and I was teaching over there. And by the time I got done teaching, I'd get onto the freeway to get home. I'd start like losing my mind. I was cutting people off, I was flipping people off. And this is after I was all peace and love each other. And then I'd get in my car and act like a psychotic. So obviously I was like, well, I don't think I'm a psychotic person. So what the hell is really going on? And what I realized is very quickly I was crashing. Remember those commercials with the Snickers and the Joe Pesci, like, here, my just not. And then they're like, you need to eat. So that's me. And pittas are like that a lot. So maybe they're not such jerks. Maybe they're just really hungry. I need to get some nutrition in there. So I started making these nut milks, and this is exactly how this originated. And I'd pack it on ice and I'd bring it with me. And then when I got done teaching my class, and it was a 1 o'clock class, it was 2 o'clock, and I hadn't eaten really anything of substance of nutritional value at that time because you can't really eat a lot and teach. So then I would drink these, and I literally was like, come on in. I drove slow. I didn't get there any later. I just was not stressed out. So by adding these things into your diet, you can almost foresee where some of your pitfalls are and where some things, tend to break down in your life. You know what I mean? If you're always yelling at people, obviously we might want to take a look at why that is. And so here is the nut milks. I started this late because I was putting everything out onto the counter, and I realized I literally didn't prepare. I opened up my cupboard and I pulled out the stuff that I have. And when I suggest that you guys do your nut milks, I suggest that you do the same thing. It's I kind of learned how to cook on that show Chopped. It's like, what's in the basket? Let's figure out how to make it. So you open up your cupboard, there's your basket. You can segregate things, fats. We kind of know what they are now. And when we look at what we're going to put in here, I'm going to show you some of the things that I have. So the first thing that we're going to actually add to our milk is nuts. So these are almonds and walnuts. They're raw, and I soaked them in filtered water, any type of really good quality water. And the reason being is you don't want to put toilet water in with your nuts. Although that seems like they belong together in a weird way, don't do that. So X-nay on the toilet A, water A, and go with like a quality water because these nuts are going to absorb that water. And I'm checking my nuts out. Would you like to check my nuts out? Sorry, I'm like a 12-year-old boy when it comes to nuts. So so I'm looking at my nuts just to make sure that they look quality. So I soaked them. I also then ran them under very hot water to make sure that they were very, very clean after that. And then I just put them into this reused salad container that I was using. This is for my own consumption. So I'm not really too worried about touching the insides of stuff and then drinking it because I'm going to drink it myself. So the way that I measure the nuts is I do one blender full at a time. I can do a smaller one, but I've usually got accustomed to doing just one blender at a time. I know that one blender full makes 5. So I'm showing you how to throw stuff in with your hands and kitchen sink it and make yourself a pretty tasty little nut milk. So the first thing we're going to start out with, and I just realized I forgot to get my water, so I'll have to go grab that when this is blending, but we start out with the nuts. So you want to know how I measure them? Okay, so I'm going to wash my hands again just so that you all know the importance of washing your hands. And just because apparently before the coronavirus, apparently people didn't know how to wash your hands. And I know you know this because there's signs in the bathroom that explain to you how to wash your hands. Yeah. So that means they had to make a sign. That means enough people didn't know how to wash their hands forever that they had to make a sign. That they were like, management, you make a sign because so-and-so Sally did not wash her hands afterwards and she was over on the salad bar. So wash your hands. And then you sing, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. That's how long you wash your hands. You sing happy birthday, okay? So it's not my birthday, but I now have sung to myself. I do that anyway. So when I measure my nuts, I use my hands. I don't really write this stuff. It just comes to me naturally. So I always touch my nuts with my hands. So I told you I clean them, and I'm going to do 5. So 5 handfuls. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's if you've been to my studio and you know how I secure the door, that's my high-tech measurement system as well. So just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. All right, so I have 5 handfuls of nuts. So we got the nuts. Now, there are some different flavor profiles that I'd like to talk to you about too. So flavor profiles, you can do anything that you want. The most common ones that I have done and people have asked for and liked, and I can mix superfoods in them that work really well, is vanilla chai. Vanilla chai works super good with nuts. It has you can add a lot of superfoods in there like cinnamon. These are anti-inflammatories, good for blood circulation. We can add in, I like this 5 spice powder because I was adding in clove. And this kind of takes care of all of that, as it gives you kind of that, it's got clove, it's got fennel, cinnamon, star anise, and white pepper. So it's going to kind of give it that little kick that I really like. And there's also a lot of nutrients that are added. So a lot of spices are really where you get a lot of your superfoods in. And then other superfoods are like fruits and other things, and herbs that have been ground up. And these things you can take also topically. So I also, not topically, like orally, I can take them in a tablet. So I've kind of opted to take my reishi mushroom now in a capsule, and I'll just reach over here because I know I got my reishi mushrooms. So I've got lion's mane mushroom. I've got reishi mushroom. These are things that also work really well with cacao or a chocolate profile. So mushroom and chocolate, I take them in a capsule now, so I don't necessarily need to put them in the milk. But when I make the milks for other people, when I brought them to the studio, I actually would be like, who's ordering them? And then I kind of would sneak in superfoods based on what I thought that person needed, unless they specifically asked me. Stress, really good is, for stress, is faux tea powder, which is a ground up herb and really good for adrenal support, as well as one of my favorites, which I have here, is Brahmi Go-To Cola, which is also for your central nervous system. So this is really good for my Vata types who are a little bit more like a wiry framed, more thin framed naturally, probably was a small for most of your life. Like Ashley, I know you're watching. She's like, I'm a Vata. She's a Vata. So Brahma Go-To Cola is a really good central nervous system herb that really helps you from kind of getting loopy. And people are like, what are you talking about? That's Vata. Like, well, I know what that means. Your central nervous system kind of can get really wiry, and then we can. So those different profiles you would want to mix with the cacao. So powder in and of itself, which is chocolate. So we're going to be doing the chocolate profile with the cacao powder. But the interesting thing about that is that it has the most antioxidants in it than any vegetable or fruit that you can find, which is why you're always hearing on the news, chocolate is good for you. Yeah, we already know that news. Thank you. It's when you cook it and add a bunch of shit to it that it becomes a problem, which is what Hershey's has done. They cooked it up and add a bunch of junk to it, and then it's not really healthy anymore. So this is raw cacao. I also add in here is MCT oil. And this also is really good for central nervous system and for my Vata types, as it's very important that we get really good healthy oils in there. Nuts in of themselves have a lot of healthy oils in there, so that works really good in and of itself. Okay, so another profile that you can add in here too is peanut butter. And it seems weird because we're working with nuts, but I don't necessarily find peanuts to be necessarily a healthy nut. And that's because they tend to contain a lot of mold, and it's about how we process this stuff nowadays. So if you look up is a peanut healthy? Yeah, but how do we handle our nuts here? We make them not healthy, just like how we handle our animals and a lot of our agriculture, like corn and not flaxseed, soy, and a lot of these things. Like we treat them so poorly, and we mass produce them, and then we genetically modify them so that they can adhere to certain environmental extremes. But that stuff's taken a toll on the people who consume them, as our bodies are not made to do that. And that's where that endocrine system can come in there. And I talk about endocrine disruptors, because the chemicals in the vegetables and the food have been proven now endocrine disruptors, meaning they don't mix with our endocrine system. And because of that, it causes it to go awry. When it goes awry, your endocrine system is your pineal pituitary gland, your thyroid, your parathyroid, which is metabolism, your thymus, your immune system, reproductive organs. I mean, this is a very important part of us. And a lot of these things that are going awfully wrong has a lot to do with what we're consuming. So consumption, your body. And if you have a lot of this stuff coming in, if you have a little bit coming in there, you're healthy, you're going to get rid of it. Your body's like, okay, coronavirus, I know it's scary, it's awful, but if you're fairly healthy, you're going to be fine. Your body knows how to get rid of this stuff. It's designed by nature to do this. The problem is people that have been consuming unhealthy or low nutrition, has such a low quality of nutrition in there for so long that now we've got a problem. And the problem ends up being is that, I could now live my whole life eating, poor quality foods that don't have a lot of nutrition. And then I can have a child. And then that child's body is coming out of my body, my unhealthy body. And so then you're getting younger and younger people that are, that are having problems with this stuff. So when, like I said, for what's going on right now, I go show me one person that their immune system is not compromised, that this has, been a problem for. So your health and your nutrition any moment, and if you keep choosing to go buy the stuff that's making you sick, then it's not going to be surprised when you get sick. But if you go the other way, you're just going to, you know what I mean? You're going to start to find that you have so much power, and we live in this fear-based society that it takes away our power. So by adding peanut, all that for peanut butter? Yeah. So what I do is I add peanut butter in for a flavor profile. And peanut butter works good with, of course, chocolate. You put chocolate in my peanut butter. Chocolate. So if you mix peanut butter, put a little scoop of peanut butter in there with some chocolate, then you're going to get a peanut butter cup, and that's a really good profile. These two in and of itself. Another one is make chocolate and add it with coffee, and everybody's got coffee because everybody likes coffee, especially blood type A's. They do really well with it. So I probably wouldn't drink one of these at night, but you can add coffee. I'm showing you my mushroom coffee. It's an instant mushroom maker. It's not got 100% healthy items in it, but enough for me to be like, I like this. Coffee, though, in and of itself is highly toxic. It's got more pesticides in it than almost anything else that you can consume. Even, the dirty dozen, like the blueberries and the spinaches and stuff. That's organic. It's got a buttload of pesticides on there, and that stuff has been traced back to serious endocrine disruptors. It's really, really, really dangerous stuff, and I just kind of want to leave it at that. So I'll do a flavor profile with a coffee. I'll put one of these in here with some cacao, and then now I have a mocha. And this, by and large, was really great. I used to make these for people when they were on cleanses so that they could start their day with a mocha. And it was like, oh, I got the mocha in the morning. And then they got a nice flavor, nut milk in the afternoon. And it was like, peanut butter or vanilla chai or something of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and make a vanilla chai. Weirdly, I'm not a huge chocolate person. With most women, I like chocolate like once a month, and that's about it. But for the most part, I don't like a ton of chocolate. I like it mixed with like coconut and peanut butter, like that. But I'm going to make vanilla chai. So we can do the other ones another day, or we can, I'll show you how to make it. It's not that hard. Okay, so we started with the nuts. We've got our nuts. So we're going to put that on our blender. And I said I want to go with some vanilla chai. So right away, I want to start with some of the flavor profiles that I'm going to put in there. Okay, so the first thing that goes in every single recipe that I do for nut milk, no matter the profile, is real salt. Real salt's important. It's not sea salt. Sea salt's different. It doesn't contain minerals. Did you know that? Mineral salt is from mines that were previously underwater, but now they're not. And so they contain also the minerals from the earth. The earth is where you get your minerals from, in case you didn't know that. So when vegetables grow, they grow with minerals because they grow in the earth. I know some of you are like, I know, I'm not retarded. But most of us are kind of so disattached from cooking and making food that we forgot that. So if your ground does not have a lot of minerals in it, then you're not getting a lot of minerals in your body. This is why all of a sudden, like, detergent might sound like you want to eat it. And that's why people have these weird cravings, because the body needs certain elements that's not coming into their diet. So real salt, my friends, the ancient fine salt, you can see it here, and it's got all the minerals that you need. This is my high-tech measuring system. I take 1 capful for 5 handfuls of nuts. There it is. Boom. Well, that was a little bit shy, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Reason why that's so good is if you find yourself eating a lot of chips or salty foods, it's probably because you need minerals. I talk about this a lot in my nutrition class, and I say, okay, you've got a big bag of chips, and chips are your thing. You're like, oh God, I ate the whole stinking bag. Okay, so it feels like, I know she eats Doritos just on my birthday, Phil, just on my birthday. And they're also starting to make me a little sick now. Oh. All right, so there's 2 awful foods I like, donuts. But now there's vegan donuts at the donuttery, and then Doritos. Yeah, the gross yellow kind. And even them I can't even eat. Other than that, I can't eat anything that's processed anymore. So what was I even saying? Salt. So if you open up a bag of, that's how my brain works. So if you open up a bag of chips and you eat 1 chip, how many more do you eat? You're all going, the whole bag. Okay, don't lie. You ate the whole bag, at least half of it or 3/4 of it, and you pretend like it didn't happen and shoved it away. And then look for something sweet because it's the opposite nutrient to sugar or to salt. Okay, so now you have that same bag of chips. You open up the bag of chips, you take one out. Sucker didn't have any salt on it, not even one kernel. How many more chips do you eat? See, that's my point. You needed the salt. So if you took a glass of water and you put a shot of a little salt in it and you slammed it, you probably wouldn't find yourself mowing down half the bag of chips when you opened up the refrigerator to find something to eat. Okay. And you probably shouldn't watch TV with the chips. Watch TV with popcorn. Go get some air pop popcorn, look at it and go, hey, there's 5 servings in here. 5 at 100 calories a serving. So worst thing I can do is eat 500 calories in this sitting if you eat the whole bag, because that's what's really happening. We know it. We know it. All right, so now we know what the flavor profile is. So I'm going to put in the salt. I've got the salt in. And when you put the stuff in, put it over to the other side so that you don't go, well, maybe your memory's not as bad as mine. I'm like, that salt in there? And then once I have some really salty milk. All right, too much salt, not good with nuts. All right, so now I'm going to put some MCT oil in there because I want some healthy fats for my brain and my central nervous system. It also is going to prevent you from craving a lot of this stuff later. So how much do you say? 2 squirts, 3 squirts. That's it. It's not that big of a deal. All right, so now we're going to go with some superfood mix-ins here. Some vanilla chai. So I'm going to go with some vanilla. Try to always, I opt for organic whenever I can. The brands that I have here are not necessarily brands I'm promoting. They're ones that I'm either have used tried and true, or they're ones that I have I'm trying now. So I try everything. I try every single thing that I can find, especially that's healthy for you or claims to have some benefits to it. And I try to find out if it's true or not. So simply organic vanilla. It's vanilla. So I'm going to put some vanilla in there. How much you say? That much. Can't really OD with the vanilla, I found. I put a lot. I actually use quite a bit. Okay, so now that we're going vanilla chai, I'm going to then also add some 5-spice powder. So simply some organic 5-spice. Since 5-spice is pretty intense, I'm probably just going to do like 4 or 5 little shakes on there because you don't want to do too much and I can always add more back in later. Okay, the next thing I want to do is add in a little bit of nutmeg. Unless you're allergic, I mean, blood type O's, I think, but the tiny bit that I put in really won't do much but help with your blood flow, and it's got a lot of benefits to it. So I'm just going to put a little shake of some nutmeg in there because I'm 5-spice. Interestingly, I can't seem to put too much cinnamon in. So cinnamon, I say go for it. I put a lot in. When I make cinnamon oatmeal raisin cookies, I use a lot of cinnamon in there too, and everybody loves them. They don't go like, oh my gosh, too much cinnamon. Cinnamon is also really good for the blood, so it's a very good detoxifier as well. So we're going to put that in there. I'm going to put quite a bit because it, like I said, you can't really overdo it. Okay, so then there's that. So we've got, so far, I've got 5-spice, MCT oil, vanilla, and some cinnamon. And then we've got the flavor profile. What works really good with this one is collagen booster. So I've got one. I used to get these herbs individually, and then I found there's one that kind of has them all together, and anything that saves times works for me. This one was an Ayurvedic brand that I tried, and it's a collagen booster. It's an herbal supplement. So this is what I'm going to be putting in here. If I can read. You can put this into a smoothie. You can put it into your oatmeal. It's vegan, and it's a plant-based adaptogen. It's basically what most labels are going to find. So when you find that kind of stuff, I can get the ingredient list here. My eyesight might be just too bad for that. That's my dog. Okay, I can't read right now. Okay. Also, what works in all of these flavor profiles is acai powder, camu powder. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon, and I got to grab a teaspoon here. It's actually, this is a tablespoon, but it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to put in a scoop of that. So as you can see, I'm going to put in a scoop of acai. So that's going to brighten it up, and it also sweetens it up as well, and it gives you a lot of antioxidants. Also, superfood antioxidant is going to be camu. So camu powder, which is also just a ground up superfruit. So it's got like a tart cherry-like flavor. Vitamin C is really good right now, especially for these viruses. You want to have like a ton of vitamin C. There's a lot of studies done on kind of attacking a lot of these illnesses with massive doses of vitamin C. It's quite interesting. It actually kind of works. So you can really just load up on that vitamin C. Natural vitamin C is going to be the best. The body recognizes what's made and grows, in our environment. Our bodies are made for that. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to look at as well. All right. So let's add some camu powder in there. I'm going to just a scoop of that. Got some acai. Now, nuts in of themselves also are very high in protein, but we can also add a lot of protein as well. So please just say no way to whey. Whey is a bad idea. Whey protein comes from dairy, creates lactose and lactose in the body and mucus. in there, it's just not good. Whey will always keep fat on your body. So if you'd like to keep an extra layer of fat on your body, include whey protein into your diet. If you like to feel sluggish and your digestion to not fully assimilate, add whey protein to your smoothies. If you don't want that and you want your skin to be very clear, then you may want to opt for something like hemp and chia. Okay, so I'm going to do chia, which I love because it's such a great way to cleanse the internal digestive system, add protein in, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of chia. Now, you can go for it and add a little bit of hemp, which I always love. I'm always big on the hemp, so I'm just going to put in like a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of hemp. And I do that because adding too many all at once can really increase the flavor on this, and you don't want it to taste like gritty and weird. You want it to taste like almond milk still. All right, so now that we've got there's another superfood that you can mix in, lucuma. This is also really great for sweetening up something as well and getting another superfood in. And these things also work really good for the skin, reproduction of collagen so that the body's remaking new cells. And then you can add in, like I said, different herbs at this point. But right now I've kind of got a lot going on, so I kind of want to narrow it down. The last thing I'm going to put in is a little bit more mushroom. It's called a beauty shroom, which is also a vegan collagen enhancer. And this is going to give me some mushrooms and some collagen-forming nutrients. For sweetener, the reason I started this late is because I looked and I said I didn't have any sweetener. And so I I usually use agave. Agave is my go-to for these because it's low on the glycemic index, which means your blood sugar is not going to spike and your body doesn't go quickly into a fat storing kind of mode. So by keeping your blood sugar down, your body will continue to work to convert everything over into sugar so that can be used for energy. My second one that I just tried, and I've been doing this, I bought a bunch of them. It took me a while to get through them, was the coconut nectar. And that was also low in the glycemic index. And that one was also very good. It worked really, really well. I looked in my cupboard today and I had none. I didn't have to eat any of these. So I was like, oh my God. So I was like, I gotta go to the grocery store. And as you know, right now going outside is not really, it's easy. So I was like, I don't want to stand in line for 10 hours to the grocery store. So I went to Rite Aid, and I've been going to Rite Aid lately because it's a weird store and they have weird stuff in there, but like 1 or 2 items. So I found organic maple syrup there, and I was like, oh, yay. So organic maple syrup is great. I love, 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 love this. The reason why it's not oftentimes used is because it's expensive. So by the time you add all this crap in this and then you mix it up, then by the time you have to charge for your nut milk, you're like, it's $20, please. And not easy for people to make a profit on it, which is oftentimes why I opted to make my own, because I can make it taste better, because I could put better quality ingredients in there where they had to maybe cut the corners. When I first started making my nut milks, I was making with dates. Dates was the sweetener, and it just took so much to bring in any sweetness, and I was going through dates like crazy. I had all these dates, but not the ones you thought. And then it just took so much to be able to. And then I was making them for members and bringing them to the studio. And I was like, I don't want to keep raising the prices on this. So then I opted to use agave, and I love agave. I thought that was really great, and I love the fact that it's low on the glycemic index. So I'm going to put in maple syrup. It's going to work lovely. Usually I'm working a squirt bottle, and my high-tech measurement system is 5 squirts, 1 squirt for each milk I'm making. I'm making 5 milks. So it's going to be like 5 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then if I'm making them for myself, I put in 6 because I like them sweet. I'm sorry. I'm a pitta, and I burn through a lot of calories in a day, so I tend to aim for a little bit more sweetness. And that's totally fine. I get a lot through the fruits and stuff like that as well. Ooh, my battery's going to die. I'm going to scrub the thing really quick. So now we're also going to have to get some water, and then we're going to have to blend it up. So I'm going to get the water going here. So I have a water. I need to plug this. It looks like this thing's going to die. I didn't plug it in, so I'm going to get that. So I got my water, and all I did is I used filtered water because I have that over here, and I don't want to use water from the tap. Obviously, I want to use quality water. So I start by adding in 1 gigantic thing of water, which brings it to about halfway, and then I'm going to just lightly blend it while I get another one filled up. So I'm just going to start this on low and then let it go. I'm going to grab another one. realize that it's not plugged in. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we've got this going here, and I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So now I'm going to kind of crank it up here so it's going to get a little bit loud here for a second. So I'm working with the Vitamix blender. I've had mine for many, many years. They're awesome. It's really hard to get these things to break down. Don't drop a food in there. Keep it shut at all times. Because you literally, if you drop a spoon in there, it's going to tear that spoon apart, and then you have to throw everything out. I've accidentally dropped like a container in there, and it's like, it pulverizes it, and you got to dump the whole thing out. All right, so I'm going to go up a little bit higher. Then I'm going to go all high, and I'm going to go grab one more water. It's very smooth in there and thick. So I want it to really assimilate and get all that stuff to mix together. And then if it clogs up, you got to kind of add a little bit of water in there. Keep it going. That's it. Keep it going. I've got it on high, and I'm going to let it blend for like 2 minutes at least. And then it's going to actually get a little bit warm. And that way I know everything's been very well assimilated together and it's safe for consumption. I got more water, filtered water to add to it. And it's going to get to the consistency that you like. Hi, Susan. Who else is here? Hi, Gabby. Hi, Olivia. Hi, Denise. Hi, Tess. Oh, my God. I think about you all the time, Tess. Tess was my roommate. Tess was my roommate when we were like, what, 21, 22? We were old enough to drink and go into bars, which was bad. Tess, she's probably laughing right now, but I'm like, my friend Tess looked just like Wonder Woman. She even dressed like her for Halloween many times, I'm sure, but she looks just like her. Okay, this looks pretty good to me, so I'm looking at it, and it's very smooth. It's very smooth. Looks pretty good, huh? Oh, it smells like a cinnamon cookie. It's like so amazing. So amazing. It smells like I said, a cinnamon cookie. All right, now I'm going to add some more water in there. And it gets me almost to the top. I'm actually going to need one more of these. I happen to know. For some reason, I use this to grab my water from my filter, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're really getting to the end here. So if we were using a peanut butter chocolate profile, I would have put in 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and then I would have put in 2 to 4 tablespoons of cacao. So cacao doesn't translate very well. You have to like add a lot to get that chocolatey taste. But I also was someone when I made chocolate milk, I added a lot of chocolate in there because I didn't felt it was chocolatey enough for me. So you kind of know what you are. If you're making this at home, you have the option to also do this yourself. So chocolate and peanut butter is so good on these. I do actually like that flavor profile quite a bit. I just tend to like the vanilla chai a tiny bit more. So you can see it's really coming up now. Now I've got it on, not on the high speed, which it really pulverizes and gets really smooth. I'm now on just like the variable here and the level 4. I'm going to kind of keep it light as I mix in the last of this water. So as I mix in the water, it's going to get me right to the top. I still want to keep it going. I don't want it to go over, obviously, because then I have a big mess to clean up. But why that's kind of getting its last mix since I get my jars ready. It's ready to be poured, and you're ready to refrigerate it. So as you can see, it really didn't take a lot. I just had to have the ingredients. And again, I think you should kind of approach this on what you have in stock. I wouldn't go out and buy everything to make nut milk because it will end up costing you like $200 or $300. Seriously. I grab these things slowly. I add them in, whatever I have on hand. You could, like I said, you could open this up, and I could have opened up some of the my reishi mushroom and my lion's mane mushroom, added to the chocolate and the cacao and the peanut butter, and then I could give this to whoever I needed to give them some extra antioxidants. So right now, I'm trying to boost my immune system, really extra special. I kind of do this anyway, so my immune system is always the same. But what can really affect your immune system, you guys, is stress. So when we're stressed out, our immune system is really depleted. And it's so, so important that we try to breathe, do a little bit of meditation, yoga, and then try to look for opportunities to add this in. What you're going to find is you're not going to crave a bunch of junk all day. I also make I should make the chocolate nut balls. We're going to make the nut balls next. Because I used to make those, and I remember my kids were little and their friends would come over. Now they're like, everything they ask me, I go, hey, try this. They go, is this healthy? Is this healthy? Like I'm trying to trick them now. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? So I would make these chocolate balls, I think because I like to say balls all the time. And they're so good. Chocolate peanut butter balls. I can make them with oats, coconut, you name. Oh my God, so good. Cherries, nuts, roll them in coconut. I mean, I've got this down for some reason. I just know the flavors I like. And they tend to be what you guys like as well. So I would get this, like, what are you making? I go, I'm making candy. You're making candy? And I give it to them, and their kids come back over and over and over again. And my kids are like, it's healthy. I think there's something healthy going on in that kitchen. They don't trust me. Everything's not healthy. So the friends, though, they didn't know. They thought it was candy. It tastes like it. All right. Hi, Charlie. I miss you, too, so much. You guys don't even know. Hi, Erica. How are you doing? Erica and I just love each other. Every time we see each other, we love each other. Hi, Trisha. Will you post an ingredient list? Yes, I actually have a recipe list that I can do with that. Okay, so this thing is about ready to tip over. So can you please pour me? All right, so I have some bottles here. So I drink juice from this juicer, so I have a couple that I have from them. And I've also got mason jars. Mason jars work lovely. So we'll just start with that, as most people are familiar with that. If I was doing a mocha, I would have put in 2 scoops of cacao, a scoop of peanut butter, and then a scoop of instant coffee. You can't put in, obviously, coffee grounds. It'll be disgusting. So it'd be an instant coffee. This one is instant coffee. That's in my Ganoderma powder. It's got collagen, Ganoderma, reishi mushroom in there. So this is it's kind of a superfood coffee, if you will. This is the coffee that I drink. I don't drink really real coffee anymore. So I got my mason jars. Now we're going to get these guys out, ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the last thing I'm going to do, because I've done this enough now, I've made these so many times, is I know I got to get right to the rim for them to fit 5 perfectly. You're at home, this doesn't necessarily need to be. So I'm just going to add in a tiny bit more and then turn that baby off. And then when we get it off there, it's still blend nice and good. I pour it pretty quickly before any of it can settle. So here we go. And you don't even have to touch anything. Nut milk 1. 2. 3. 4. Just sounds good. Top them all off. Okay, so there we have it. We've got these. Can you see these down here? Okay, there we are. So we've got the nut milks. Let me turn this down here. So here they are, all ready to go. And then we're going to put these lids on there. Let's see if I can't get rid of this. There we go. Got some light back in here. All right, so I'm going to put the lids on here. Wasn't this easy? I did more talking than I did cooking. I actually kind of like cooking like this talking to you guys. It's way more fun. Okay, so here we go. Look, here's 5. So here's our beautiful nut milks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 that we created with our superfoods. So in this, you'll have chia seeds, you got MCT oil, vanilla, camu, hemp seed, acai. You've got cinnamon. You had the 5-spice blend. We had a multi-herb collagen booster blend, lucuma, which is a natural superfood, on top of these other superfoods, mineral, salt, nutmeg, and again, any other superfoods that you want to mix in there. So there's how you make nut milk, and it's all not that hard. It looks very familiar for those of you that are like, your nut milks aren't in. I would just take a marker right on the top, what flavor profile I put in there. So I'm going to have to get through these 5 nut milks. And yes, you can order. It's funny, at the studio, what I did is I left out sheets for people to order, and I just made them and left them for you. So if anybody seriously wants me to make them for you, I will. But I got to say, it's a game changer. Oh my God, Eric, to this day, I make a new batch of your almond milk every week. It literally changed my life. That's Erica. See, thank you, Erica. She went to the nut milk workshop. Didn't you go to that nut milk workshop? So that's awesome. Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen. I miss you so much. Okay. Hi, Ta. Hi, Livia. Okay, so they usually last, if you have a very cold refrigerator and you don't take them out and put them back in, like you take it to work and you don't drink it, you stick it back in the refrigerator for whatever reason, then they usually last they can last up to 7 days. I've had them last up to like 10 days. What I can tell you is when they go bad, it's not a mystery. You know it. They smell like something may have crawled in there and died on accident. And you didn't see that. So do let it air for a second, because right when it's about ready to go, it's got a day before it really goes. See how well I know this process. If it does get out to room temperature or it gets warm in any way, it's done. You got to either drink it right away or it won't make it through the night. It just can't get cold again. It can't get room temperature warm really and get cold again. That's when it's kind of the death of it. So that usually doesn't work. You'll find that places, so for instance, if I made this and I sent it out, to be sold, and that's how I wanted to make my living. The problem is it wouldn't get very far. So it's probably going to last somewhere about 5 days in your refrigerator, which should be able to get through 5 in 5 days. If not, then we make those, the percentages a little bit smaller. When my nut milk workshop, it was funny because I was like, everybody's like, show me how to make it. And I was like, that's how I make it. How am I going to show them this? So what we did is we had someone standing right next to me and they measured it. And we did all the different flavor profiles and we were able to measure them. So for those of you that are like, I need precise instructions, I'll totally screw it up. I'm more like, we'll figure it out. If you want those, we got that. So she measured out exactly like the cups, the percentages, the teaspoons, and all that. And I do have it somewhere in my computer. I just got to find it. So once I find the recipe, I will post that as well. But it's a pretty easy way to make your nut milks. I'm going to do this also with the other flavor profiles. And then I'm going to gather up the ingredients to make my balls, just because we haven't been able to. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Dawn. We haven't been able to do the stretch class with the balls, which gives me my fix of saying, grab your balls and touch your balls. So now we're going to make chocolate balls. We'll make peanut butter chocolate balls. For those of you that are like, I'm allergic to peanut butter or I hate chocolate, I got balls for you too. We're not discriminate when it comes to balls. We feel everybody should have a ball somewhere. So we do them with oats instead of coconut. We can do it with almond flour instead of either of those. We can do it so that we can add in superfood mix-ins in there, and then we add in things like cacao and chocolate chips and things that make it a dessert. It's definitely a dessert, but because we can add in chia seeds and superfoods and nuts and stuff like that, it ends up being a nutritious dessert, really. So it's kind of cool. And the best thing about it is, one, it will prevent you from craving and eating a bunch of shit that you shouldn't, and that's the first reason, kind of like I did it. And then second, it ruins shit food for you. Okay, it ruins it. It ruins shit food. So if you want to ruin your shit food, eat my balls. I should type this stuff up because I think you'll get far. So eat my balls if you don't want to have shit food. So by doing that, what I mean by that is that your body is getting the nutrients that it needs. It's not going to subsequently go and crave after this other stuff. And what I mean by that, and I'll leave you on this last tip, when you eat that whole bag of chips, don't you have to go then and eat something sweet later? So sugar and salt are the opposite of the spectrum when it comes to energy. So sugar's here and in the middle, right? And then the very opposite is salt. So when you eat too much salt, you're going to eat some sugar. Your body's craving sugar to give it back that balance of energy. If you eat too much sugar, your body's craving for salt. So remember when you went trick-or-treating and you just wanted a bag of chips? That's why I always say hand out bags of chips. It goes really far, because when you get so tired of all that sugar, your body craves salt. Not that this is healthy in any way. This is not at all. It's just what's happening. So when you find that yourself, someone who's like, I like a lot of sugar, so I drink juice and I eat fruit, and then I wouldn't eat a Skittle. It would make me vomit. Not always the case. I could eat an entire bag of family-size Skittles before this. It's just that now my body knows the difference and it just cannot tolerate it. It's going to opt for the healthier version, and it craves those things instead. So when I am like, let's eat really bad tonight and watch a movie, my bad is difficult to find. I'm like, I don't know, a bagel? My bad has been a bagel with cream cheese. Seriously. I love a bagel with cream cheese. I don't really eat them because they're not really nutritious and good for you. I don't eat a lot of dairy. I try to keep that out. So if I have a cheat food, sometimes it's bagel and cream cheese. That's what I mean by that. It's just, I'm like, well, if I'm gonna eat something bad, that's what I want. So if you want to kind of change your cravings, you want to improve the quality of your health and thus improve the quality of your life, because then you don't have to stress out when these things, if they're getting big now, it means they're probably going to keep coming. If people got the technology to kind of get this out there and make people sick, it's the tip of the iceberg. And so the only defense that we have is our bodies. And our bodies are so incredibly powerful. They are designed to keep you healthy. Their only job, your body, is to keep you healthy and optimal. So it's your job to help your body out by empowering it with what it needs to keep that fight for you. So I truly say this 100%. Lacey, my dear friend, I miss you so much. I think about you constantly. You build your immune system and you start to mount it so that you can fight this stuff off when it comes around. Next year, we're probably going to be faced something again. It's going to be a stronger one. So what, are we going to stay in our houses forever? It's not going to happen. So it's going to come down to your health. So now's the time. You go sitting home. You might as well get some nuts out, soak them. How long do you soak them? I usually soak them overnight. I say 12 hours at least is a really good time. I've soaked them on accident for like 5 days and it's been okay. So again, if there's mold growing in there, then it's not okay. You need to throw it away. But a lot of this stuff is going to be just common sense. Lacey, I miss you so much. I need to come out and see you. I've been stalking you. She moved to Portland. I need to move to Portland too, I tell you. All right, you guys. So I hope that you found this informative. I hope that this can help you a little bit. I truly enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys. I mean, I absolutely love it. So I'm going to I just kind of figured out how to get all technical on the stuff all lined up here. So we'll be making the famous balls next time, and then we'll be doing maybe some chocolate peanut butter profile. If you guys have any suggestions, or maybe you're like, you talked about this and I really would like to know how that works, or maybe I'd like to understand nutrition a little bit more, I can start talking about these topics as well. I did do a nutrition class. It was like 2 or 3 hour class though, and we did record it. I could dump the thing on the internet. I just don't know if you'd be interested. Maybe we can break it down and talk about different topics. So next I'm going to have to figure out how to juice, because ever since Project Juice is my favorite and I have not gone really anywhere since. Now I'm going to have to figure out how to make them, because they had some recipes they just got rid of and I love them. So I'm going to figure out how to do that next. And if you guys have anything that you want to share, please do, and have any suggestions or any recommendations as well. So keeping it real. I love you. Enjoy your nut milks. If anybody lives close by me and wants one, I'll bring it to you. And then we'll continue to air our workouts on the Hard Yoga members page. Please remember that everybody is welcome on the Hard Yoga members page. So if you have friends you want to invite in, this is my gift to the world. That's it. That's all I've got is me. I've got my yoga. I've got my superfoods and my oils. I got my CBDs over here. So I will share that information with you. And if you want to know it, I'm going to tell it to you. I just don't have a lot of interest in sharing information that I don't want to share with you. If you don't want to know about it, then it's fine. It's okay. I have no problem with that. But if you guys want to learn it, I got a ton of stuff to share. So slow masticating juicer for the juice. Okay, good. So tell me what you guys think about. If you guys are juicing at home, tell me what you're using to juice. And if you have some recipes on there, I still have the recipes from Project Juice, because in my opinion, they were like the gold standard when it came to juice, just the integrity and all that. So anyway, I love you all. If you have any questions, if I was not clear, if I talk too fast, please let me know and I'll clear all that up for you. So have a great day today, keeping it real out here, and peace at you. Love you all. Bye. Until next time. Until we meet again.